Hello, my dear friend Olus.
Hey,
How have you been? It's
all
been a
well.
while.
Indeed. All well on my side. And how about you?
Yeah, I'm good as well. I'm good. I'm saying it has been a while, not really because we have been in contact a lot, but it has been a while that we saw each other. Well,
Exactly.
last time we saw each other, but then before that, it took a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I must say, I'm very happy to have you back in the RegTech book, the new one, the sequel. And you kind of surprised me a little bit because you come in with a complete different angle than last time. So tell us all about the data chaos theory.
First of all, thank you very much for having me in the RegTechBlackbook. Always an honor to be among this type of projects with passionate people like you and the other RegTech friends.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. When you say, yeah, I've come with a different angle, right? You said, yeah, data, what is data and why data? But we've been in this RegTech ecosystem for a while, and
that's correct.
See, we're in the business world. What I've seen is that more and more all the regulations, all the laws are really pushing towards the fact that everything has to go around the data, about the storage, reception, regular reporting, and harmonization and usage of it. And I said to myself, yeah, okay, but RegTech becomes actually Datatech per se. So that's why I said to myself, in order to really continue to push towards RegTech and the evolution of RegTech, we have to be aware of the evolution of data as well. And that's the reason I focused on this one, actually.
So you kind of changed a little bit the perspective on it.
I see data and RegTech with each integrated in each other. So I think they will not be separated at all. So everything is around data, and RegTech is around data. I think that's one goes with another.
I must agree. I mean, a lot is about data, right? Because a lot of the data is captured. It's been looked at. It's been there's some interpretations that have been made on data. And that's also some of your examples. For example, when you mentioned credit monitoring, you go on ESG data. Maybe could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The point is, today, everybody agrees on the fact that data is important. And everybody thinks that all companies can do anything they want with data. So I work with a lot of financial institutions, okay? And what I see is that all the IT architectures and systems, they have tons of different systems, different structure of data. Okay, they have it, but they don't use it. And for example, on one of my missions at the financial institution, one of the requests of business was that they had to have data monitoring each quarter per quarter, 15 minutes per 15 minutes on a day. And then when I looked into the data and statistics and processes, I've seen that actually none of the data is reported. So the data is not there. It's there once in a quarter. But on business mind, they're like, oh yeah, we're there. We can do whatever we want with data, but the systems doesn't follow, you see? So that's the reason actually that I've come with it. It's that everybody thinks that structured data is there, but it's unstructured data is there, So it's video, it's texts, it's pictures, and that's why I think that's my processes is that you've taken the example of ESG. On ESG it's important, right? It's something which has a real purpose for the future of the world, of the humanity. But when you look at the ESG, do you think that how actually can financial institutions propose ESG to their clients and make sure to the regulators that they follow the ESG guidelines? Very difficult, right? And and that's actually it's there, and it's there because of the fact that I saw the sentiment analysis and text mining as a way to give the signals on the management or the respect of the ESG guidelines, for example. So that's why I focused on the ESG side. And from the credit risk analysis, it's the same. For example, you're a bank, okay? And you have a team of 15 or 20 credit analysts, and you've given loans to hundreds or thousands of companies. But how can you make sure that you follow up what is being said about these companies? You cannot put all your credit analysts read everything that passes by. They have to be really select the information which is relevant and important to them. And that's what sentiment analysis, NLP, and text mining does. It really focuses on the data feeds which are there. And based on these techniques, boom, you're able to really focus on the things and give you the signal where it is relevant to you, actually.
Would you rather consider then Regtech to taking on board advanced data analytics, or would you rather say it's data analytics that is moving into the space of regulatory technology? Which one goes first, or which one takes the lead, in your opinion?
That's a very good question. As a RegTech passionate, I must say, look at how data can help with regulatory. You look to the KYC process, know your customer processes, right? So you have thousands of clients or thousands of companies that you work as a bank. You cannot be sure that you follow everything which is done, or you cannot say that, oh, one of the companies goes to, I don't know, to Panama and has a sub company there. But with data and with texts and with all this unstructured textual data which is growing, you can catch it up. So I think that data serves RegTech very efficiently. Not only other things, but I think that the added value of data is just awesome. Risk analytics is the same, credit risk analytics.
No, I agree with you. I think that somehow it is, again, the regulator who has a very crucial role in this discussion, because it's also the regulator who can determine which data should made from an unstructured way into a structured way, because that is then reporting. I think that's one element. And the second element could be, what about trust? As long as the regulator doesn't say that the data that you mine unstructurally is trustworthy, then the industry will continue to look for what is the actual ultimate beneficial owner, for example. So again, an example, in my opinion, where it takes three to tango. It's the industry together with the technology, RegTech, or the data technology, together with the regulator. Do you also see that happening today? Is that something that you also...
Absolutely. Because so you've got the regulatory process, that's for sure. And it goes even beyond that. You mentioned trust, and that's important. And one of the areas where text mining and sentiment analytics is used by the regulators or the national banks or authorities is, okay, how can we make sure that the economic policy uncertainty of the people is processed and monitored, and data is also giving that to them. So predictive analytics and text is not 100% for sure, but it gives you a common ground where you can give the trusts to your clients. As an asset manager, you can say, as a fund asset manager, the funds that I'm monitoring, I check all the lines, underlying lines, vis-a-vis the ESG criteria, and make sure that nothing passes by. I cannot be sure that they don't do anything wrong, but if they do anything wrong, and it is documented somewhere, you will get it. And that's all about trust. You just mentioned it.
Yeah, it's about all the discussions about taxonomy in a way, right? It's like making the right definition about what is sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, once the definition is clear, then I totally agree. Then that's where data comes in.
Yeah.
What always made me very afraid, and and it feels that lately this is somehow being more channelized or channeled even better, is the whole notion where it was a little bit unclear in the beginning about what were the rules on ESG. Maybe it's still not 100% there, but we're working on it, or the industry is working towards. I was really afraid that the label of being sustainable was the same as like a bio label on food, where there are so many agencies that come out and one truth is as good as the other, right? Really. So then it becomes a selling trick rather than passing the real ambition that we have. I think in Europe it makes sense. We've got the Green Deal, so there's somehow something in advance in which we have to work towards. So it forces us also as a nation or as a group of people to go towards that end goal, really.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, look at you mentioned bio products, but look at the sugar percentage of most of the bio products that we're getting. If you don't look at the sugar percentage, it's sometimes more than non-bio products, right? And on ESG, what data does or what text mining does, it doesn't say, oh, we're going to be 100% coverage of the fact that there won't be a greenwashing. That's not it. But we're giving you ways to determine ESG factors and how and make sure that this does build up, is this pile up. That's the I think it will say, okay, there will be the companies that you're buying products from. Okay, do they have a good governance or social process? Do they pay their workers or the labor correctly? This kind of stuff, and this will help you build the ESG factors a bit, which we don't have. Nobody has for the moment.
So it actually makes the whole process more objective.
Exactly. I think we're at the beginning of an era, but I try to be optimistic still, because most people can say, oh, yeah, well, we're not going to the right direction, etc. But when you look at the humanity, and we'll look at the pandemics, for example, I mean, in 1 year time, we found a solution, a structural solution to manage that. It's awesome, right?
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that on the ESG it will be the same. Most people say right now, most experts say, oh, it's too late. You cannot have an economy or consumerism which is compatible with ESG guidelines. Maybe not like that, but I do believe that we have the solution. And I'm too optimistic, but I think that data can provide it
somehow the glue or the means to get there.
Yeah, that's my purpose.
I personally do like your optimism. I mean, I know you for a long time as also a RegTech influencer, if I can say it like this.
Thank you very much.
Where would you see RegTech going?
Oh, first of all, as we said, RegTech is here to help companies with their data struggles. So I was mentioning in my article as well, I have the chance to work with several companies as an advisor, and in all of them, they all face what I mentioned, the data chaos, because of the fact that, they know that they have this awesome pile of data that can help them get efficiencies everywhere, but they cannot use it. So it's really the harmonization, structuring, and analytics of data. And I think that RegTech can provide it that way, and go beyond, still hand in hand with technology, but together with the business experts, to make sure that the implementations, the evolution, and the collaboration between the users and the tech software goes line in line. So this is what should RegTech focus on. It's really more customer focused, not saying, okay, we've got the awesome product, just buy it. It doesn't work that way. It's just an evolving process, I would say.
Okay, we're almost to the end of this interview, and then I know we could go on for hours and hours because it's about the passion that we both share.
Let me go get a beer, and we'll take 30 more minutes.
Exactly, exactly. But what about yourself? How do you see your role going forward within the Regtech space in the next few years? Because it has been 2 years since we wrote the previous book. So imagine in the next 2 years, we will sit together and you're again a contributor. What will be the plan or what has been happening in that 2 years?
Yeah, well, I'm talking myself, and I think that you will agree. But 2 years ago, I think we were really still on the preliminary era of Regtech. Mm-hmm. And since 2 years, I see a lot of projects going. On, and the adoption is there, and rather companies say, okay, we create joint ventures with software companies, Regtech companies to move on, or we buy and we have I see a more sustainable and long-term relationship between financial institutions and Regtech companies, and I think that within 2 years we will more talk about all blockchain initiatives around Regtech. Okay. Where rather than having local initiatives, the exchange of data regarding KYC, AML, or risk management or structural risk will be combined in one global hub. This is where I think we will be.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Let's see where it goes.
That would be nice.
It's my guess.
Okay, now duly noted. So there is no escape anymore. Olus, I thank you so much again for being a participant in the book.
It was an honor.
For being a good friend, for being passionate about Regtech as well. And by this, I wish you a very good evening. Okay. To all the listeners, thank you very much for tuning in. This is only one interview. There will be, as you know, plenty of interviews of people from the book. So feel free to go on to YouTube, follow our channel, and you get all the latest Regtech news coming to you. Thank you very much.
Bye.